Hi everyone, happy Thursday. I thought I would bring you a quick training basically to cover an action plan, like a set of steps to take if you're focused on your psychology and your mindset. I just seen a message in the community from Cheryl mentioning that she's focusing on her psychology over the next few weeks. So that inspired me to make this training. I understand that there's a lot of psychology videos in the channel already from Sanjeev, but I wanted to make a clear and direct training basically on what to do, like numbered steps to take, right? If you want to improve your psychology, if you feel like you're taking a lot of losses that are unnecessary, if you're making a lot of emotional decisions on the charts in regards to over leveraging, over trading, taking trades that are outside of your entry model. Maybe you don't even have a trading plan and you're not even looking at your model, right? So if you feel like you are making a series of bad decisions which are leading to results that you do not want, then I think it's really important that you do what Cheryl's doing and take some time to really focus on improving your psychology and your mindset, right? I understand it can be a little intimidating because when you start the psychology journey in trading, it's like, right, what do I do? I've spent what, 2, 3 years obsessing over technical analysis, obsessing over price action, and now I'm realizing that my mindset isn't right. Okay. So it might be a little bit intimidating. You're not sure where to start. Maybe you've never done any personal development stuff before, but that's fine. It's not as difficult as you think it is, right? If you've never meditated, if you've never journaled, if you don't read personal development books, it's fine. I know it's a little scary at first, but these are just habits that you'll need to build slowly. And all it takes is a small amount of your time per day, right, to build a habit on each of these actions. And once you start doing these things and once you start feeling the benefits that come with it, you're going to be obsessed. You're going to get addicted, right? You only need discipline until an action becomes a habit. So, with the list of things that I'm going to cover on this call, I really, really, really recommend that you see it through. Just see it through for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Once you feel the benefits from it, it's just going to be so easy. You're actually going to jump out of bed in the morning to do these things. You'll be excited. So, yeah, let's dive into it. Okay, I'll just share my screen because I want to pull a few things up on Google. So I think I have a list of 8 things here that I'm going to run through. The first thing I would recommend is listening to Dr. Joe on YouTube, right? So let's go into YouTube. So if you type in Dr. Joe, you can see they're on my recommended here. So things like this, right? All of this motivation mastery, all that stuff. And jazz, I didn't put that on my list, but listening to jazz when I trade really helps. So if you just type in Dr. Joe, he is a combination of quantum physics and spirituality, right? He's a scientist, but he is spiritual. And if you haven't heard of him before, I highly recommend that you read his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It was eye-opening for me. It really changed my life. Highly recommend it. So these types of videos, they're just really good. Like just the way he speaks and what he teaches just completely changes my perspective for the day. It can really set the course of your day. Lots of tips and tricks in there about how to speak to yourself, building habits and basically reprogramming your mind. So listen to that. They're easy lessons. You don't have to sit and focus and take notes. You can just listen to this while you're out for like a long walk, which is what I do. I would definitely recommend doing that. Now, the next thing is wealth affirmations. So you can see I have this on my tab up here. I listened to 20 to 30 minutes of this every single day for about 5 to 6 months. And then I received my first big payout. Everything that happens twice, first in the mind and then in reality, okay? So in order for you to achieve the results you want and the success you want from trading, you really have to sit down and spend time visualizing it and imagining it for yourself first, right? So by listening to wealth affirmations every day, you're going to visualize that life for yourself. Your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So the more you imagine, the more you're bringing it into your reality, right? 20 minutes every day. This is, I think it's a couple of hours long. So you can just finish off the next day where you last left off. Yeah, yeah, it's 7 hours long. So if you just listen to 20 minutes of that every day, that will make a huge difference in attracting abundance into your life. Because one of the main reasons we make emotional, like fear-based decisions on the charts is through fear, through lack mindset. We're worried that we don't have enough money. We're worried that we're not going to make enough money. We're worried that we're not going to reach payout. They're all fear-based decisions. But when you shift your mindset from a place of lack to a place of abundance, all of a sudden you're not in as much of a rush to be in a trade. You're more patient to wait for the right setups to appear. You don't have that desperation to make money on the charts anymore. You just feel calm, relaxed. You feel like you have everything you already need, and therefore it removes fear-based decisions from your day-to-day trading, right? That is so important. Those abundant affirmations, they've made a huge difference. The next one would be 10-minute guided meditations. So just say that you are feeling impatient, right? So whenever you sit down at the end of every day and you reflect on your trading that day, just say you recognize, right, I was extremely impatient. I had my point of interest marked up, I had my visualization, but I did not wait for price to come to me. I jumped in the trade too early, meaning that I got stopped out. Price hit my point of interest, my entry area, and the trade that I imagined for myself appeared and played out perfectly, but I was impatient and I didn't wait for the right entry. Okay. So just say that's an experience you had one day. What you can do is you can type in 10-minute guided meditation for patience. Okay. There's loads of different ones on here. You can just simmer through and pick one that you like. I personally find some people's voices a little bit irritating, so I'm a little bit picky with my guided meditations. You might be different, but usually I have to filter through here and find one that I like the sound of that actually makes me feel calm. All you have to do is put your earphones in, just follow the instructions, right? Take a few deep breaths before, put yourself into a relaxing state. And there's no right or wrong way to meditate, right? If you've never meditated before, again, it's going to be a little bit intimidating. During the meditation, you're probably going to wonder, like, am I doing it right? I don't feel anything. Is it working? It's not about whether it works or not. It's not about having crazy results or crazy proof that it's actually making a huge difference in your life. What matters is that you're taking 10 minutes to silence your mind. Because whenever we overtrade and we over leverage and we make emotional based decisions on the charts, it's our mind that's in control, right? It's that little voice in our head that's saying, you don't have the time to wait to enter a trade. You don't have the time. You're running out of time. You need to make money now. So enter the trade now, right? It's your mind that's pushing you to make all of these silly decisions. It's those limiting beliefs that are fueling those bad decisions. So by taking 10 minutes every single day to silence your mind and tell your mind and tell your body, right, you're going to sit still now, it just helps you to practice mindfulness, and therefore it's going to give you more clarity and self-awareness on the charts, so that whenever you hear that little voice in your head going, jump on the trade now, I know it's probably early, but it's fine, it'll be fine, there's a 50-50 chance it'll work out. Whenever that little voice is encouraging you to make bad decisions, because you've already practiced mindfulness, you now have a choice in how you react to that voice. You can either ignore it and say no, not yet, and use discipline to ignore it, or else you can let it control you, right? So meditation allows you to gain control over how you react to your thoughts. Really, really important. Just say that you feel like you lack discipline that day. You can just type in 10-minute guided meditation for discipline. If you're struggling to get to sleep early and you want to wake up early for Asian session, then you can just type in 10-minute guided meditation for sleep and do it before you go to sleep. Everything here, right? We have meditations for abundance, productivity, and focus. If you feel like you're feeling a bit lazy and you can't be bothered watching the end of day markup videos, you can't be bothered doing any back testing, type in guided meditation for motivation. If you feel like you're struggling to focus, there's focus, calm mind, self-love and confidence, anxiety. There's a 10-minute guided meditation for everything. But in order to recognize what you actually need help with, you need to have some sort of self-awareness, right? Where you need to identify, right, I'm feeling like I'm lacking patience today, I'm lacking confidence, or I'm a bit anxious today, right? And in order to have that self-awareness to identify how you're feeling so that you know which guided meditation to use that day, that takes us into the next thing, which is to get into the habit of journaling your emotions every morning, right? I know that I always talk about keeping a trading journal, but it's equally, if not more important, to also journal your emotions every morning. So I have two books in the morning, well, technically three books in the morning that I sit down every morning. I have a coffee and I sit down and I journal my emotions for that day. All I do is I ask myself, how am I feeling today? Why am I feeling that way? And if I feel like I'm having a bad mental health day, I'll just sit and list all the things that I'm grateful for that day to help shift my way of thinking from negative to positive. It's just a practice of us sitting down and just saying, how do I feel? And really going inwards and identifying how you feel that day. And if it's negative, why are you feeling that way? What's making you feel that way? And it's there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Again, it's just you practicing self-awareness, right? And the more you do that, the more in tune you're going to be with your emotions, and therefore you're going to be able to self-reflect and realize what you're maybe what you need a bit of help with that day with regards to the guided meditations. It all goes hand in hand, right? But obviously it's important to journal your trades as well. But I've mentioned this before, whenever you're journaling your trades, it's not just about entry price, stop loss price, risk to reward. Like, yeah, that stuff's good for learning the technicals, but you really need to document what were my thoughts and emotions when I entered this trade. Did I enter this trade because it matched my entry plan, or did I enter it because I felt like it's 2 weeks to payday and I have no money, I need to get a payout quickly? Like, what were your thoughts and emotions? Did you feel stressed because you just opened a bill that came in the post? Do you feel do you feel calm and therefore you took that trade because the setup appeared? You need to document your thoughts and feelings, and that's going to help you to identify patterns in your emotional based decisions. So maybe you'll find that you always enter bad trades and take unnecessary, not bad trades, but like just trades that aren't aligned with your plan and your model, right? So maybe you find a pattern that you always enter those types of trades and take those types of unnecessary losses maybe like the week before payday, whenever you're starting to run out of your whatever salary you have left and stuff like that, right? So maybe it might be a good thing to incorporate into your schedule that the week before payday you focus on psychology and mindset and exercise and all these tasks. Maybe you could start doing that, right? Journaling your emotions whenever you're journaling your trades is going to help you to understand yourself a lot better, and it's going to allow you to incorporate the right things into your routine and schedule that will lead you to the results you want through trading, right? Now, the next one is exercise. Sanjeev talked about this last night. I have noticed that if I go any more than 2 or 3 weeks without exercising, without going to the gym or going for a run, I am so anxious. I get so anxious. I get so fearful. My body just feels so frustrated, and therefore my mind gets frustrated. And I would take most of my unnecessary losses after I haven't been exercising or meditating or doing all of these things, right? That's why I so heavily push these things onto you guys, is because I have experienced firsthand how much these little daily actions affect my training and my well-being and my decision making process, right? These aren't just little like novelty things like meditation and journaling. It's not just things we do for the crack just to fill up our day and make us feel productive or to make it look like we're doing something. They actually work, right? They really, really work. And moving your body and exercising allows you to release all those emotions, those stored up emotions. Like if you've been on tilt and you've taken unnecessary losses, going for a run or going to the gym, you're going to feel like a new person after, right? It's not going to matter as much compared to if you just sat and binge watch Netflix and eat takeaways and junk food, and then the market reopens and you're jumping back on Asian session trying to make back the losses that you had that day. You're not preparing yourself. You're not putting yourself into the right state of being and the right mindset to remove tilt from your way of thinking, right? So it's really important that you reset your mind, but also through resetting your body, exercise and get rid of those emotions, all those built up stored emotions, because I think something that a lot of new traders don't realize is pain from the previous day passes into the current day, right? It's if you're in tilt on a Thursday, the probability of you being in tilt on a Friday is quite high. We don't just shake off these emotions. The pain is and from the loss we've taken is in our subconscious mind. How do we detach from that loss? We take some time to work on our mindset, to exercise, journal, meditate, right? Now, the sixth thing is accountability. It's so important to have accountability, right? This is why we have the accountability channel in the Discord community, and I try to encourage you guys to use it every day. I've noticed that quite a few people are getting more and more into the habit of using it, which makes me so happy. I've mentioned this before. I was in a like entrepreneur monthly subscription group thing, and I got paired with someone for an accountability partner at every week we had a Zoom call. We just checked in with each other. We said, right, what are our goals for this week? How are we going to achieve them? And it really helped that she was a full-time trader as well. We have very similar goals. And knowing that I had a phone call or a video call with her on a Friday, and I had to explain to her, right, what have I done with my 200K challenge? Is it in profit? Have I lost it? It really helped me to make better quality decisions on the charts because I knew that I was going to have to answer to someone. And if I'd made silly decisions that had led to results I didn't want, I'd look like an idiot, right? I know obviously I wouldn't have looked like an idiot, but in our heads, our limiting beliefs. That's what they tell us, which is actually really good motivation. So if you really want to see success, if you want to take this journey seriously, at the end of every day, drop into that accountability channel in the Discord a screenshot of your trade history and MetaTrader, right? Keep us updated. So just say you didn't take any trades today. Take a screenshot of your history for that day, drop it in and say no trades today. If you get into the habit of sharing a screenshot of your MetaTrader every single day, that means that just say you impulsively enter a over leveraged position, or maybe you remove your stop loss, right? Because sometimes impulses encourage us to do these things, but it's not about avoiding these mistakes, it's about correcting them as soon as possible. That's how you're going to grow, to avoid them in the future, right? You can't just stomp them out straight away. It goes from the process goes from making silly emotional based decisions, which lead to really big losses, because you can't let go of it. Just say you've entered an over leveraged position. At the beginning, you're like, oh, I'm just going to let it run. I'm just going to see if it works. It might work. It might work. I hope it works. You end up trading hope instead of price action, right? Then down the line, when you understand risk management better and you understand that it's a game of probabilities, you'll still make those silly impulsive decisions. But the difference is you're going to switch on a lot faster. You might enter an over leveraged position or remove your stop loss, but you're going to think 2 minutes later, this is not going to end well, because past experience has shown me that these actions lead to unfavorable results. So you're still going to make those impulsive decisions, but you're going to be able to correct them a lot faster. So just say you remove your stop loss and then you think, no, this is not a good idea. So you'll add a stop loss again, right? And then eventually you'll get to the point where you'll have enough reaction time between your mind telling you to do these things to avoid fear and actually taking the action, right? It's a slow process, but having that accountability is going to help you to get there. At the end of every day, send a screenshot of your MetaTrader history into the charts, and it's going to help you to think twice. So it's going to shift you from that first phase to the second phase, where if you enter in impulsively and it's against your plan, you're going to correct it faster, because I have people's eyes looking at my results at the end of this day. I'm going to have to answer to why I entered 20 lots on a 100k account with no stop loss, and I'm going to look like an idiot. So it'll encourage you to correct your impulsive decisions faster, which will eventually lead to you not acting on those impulsive thoughts at all, if that makes sense. Now, the seventh one is a social media detox. Okay. I'm actually off social media again. I keep doing these little 2-week detoxes this year, and they have made the world of a difference. So I decided yesterday I'm going to go on one again, deleted my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok. The only thing I have now is a habit tracker app on my phone. So whenever I lift up my phone to go scroll, to go into a scroll hole, to doom scroll, and I see that Instagram and Twitter isn't there, I'm like, ah, and I'm bored. So the app that I have at the bottom of my phone now, where Instagram used to be, I now have a habit tracker app, and the app is called Habit, right? And it's like a little tick. And basically you have a list of habits on there every single day, and you just tick them off each day. So whenever I'm bored, instead of scrolling, I just go into that app and I have like stretch my body, journal emotions, read 10 pages, pray, breath work, meditation, move my body, eat something nutritional, track my calories, master trading skill set, i.e. back testing and stuff like that, the end of day markup, do my Spanish lesson, right? So those are all the types of habits I have on there for each day. It sounds like a lot, but I've done it before where I've just done them all one after the other, and it only took a few hours. So those are the types of things you can do. Remove yourself from social media. Another main reason I recommend getting off social media is because, just say that you've went into tilt for a day and you have taken a big loss, right? And then you go into social media and you see that someone has made a big win and they've received a payout. It's going to make you think, well, I'm not taking a break because I want those results. So I'm going to rush and I'm going to force the market to give me those results, because if they can do it, I can do it, without actually having the awareness to recognize that you're not in the right state of mind to attract those results. You cannot force the market to give you what you want. The only thing you can do is come to the market with a calm mind, with a mindset of abundance and patience, and wait patiently for a setup to appear. That's how you're going to attract those results. You don't force the market to give you big payouts or big results, because it always ends up not well. I was going to curse again, but it doesn't end up well, right? When you try to force money out of the market, you can't force the market to give you what you want. You have to work on your mindset and your state of being to attract those results, right? Because Whenever you are in the right state of mind and you've focused on personal development and you're coming to the market with a clear head, there's no attachment to previous losses, you attract profits and you attract the right actions effortlessly, right? It feels easy to use discipline. It feels easy to use patience. It feels easy to not feel desperate only because you've went away from the charts and you've done the work you need to on your mind and exercising and meditating and journaling, right? If you feel like you're coming to the charts every day and you have this desperation and this anger and you want the market to give you a payout now, but you keep taking loss after loss and blowing account after account, that's why, because you're coming to the market with the wrong mindset, right? It all really starts in your mind. But social media, as I was saying, it's not a good place to be because whenever you're seeing certificates and big payouts and big wins and people, sharing their success and stuff, it's great. It's really good. That stuff's good for taking inspiration. Like I used to sit through the prop for payout channels and just imagine my name on the certificate. I used to spend hours doing that before I ever got a payout. So seeing those things from other people are good for inspiration and good for visualization, but it's not good to see that stuff every single day, especially if you're in that phase where you haven't had a payout yet and you're in that frustrated phase where I believe it works, but I haven't got proof yet, so I don't know if it really works. And you want to try and force the market to give you results and give you a payout so that you can prove to your friends and family that it works and that you're not wasting your time and that you're not insane for pursuing trading, all that stuff, right? So I think it's best to do 2 weeks off social media if you can. And being off social media as well really helps you to think creatively. My brain just works different when I'm off social media. I'm not distracted. I think of really creative ideas and I problem solve a lot easier because my brain actually has the space to think creatively. So if you feel like you're struggling to see the next steps forward and in solving whatever issue you're facing in the charts right now, social media detox is probably the first step to do alongside the rest in this list. The last one, number 8, is read personal development books. I read 10 pages every single morning. I I used to find this difficult up until like 2019. The only books I'd ever really read were like Harry Potter and Twilight and stuff like that. But I picked up my first personal development book in 2019. I bought two of them actually, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill and Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? I remember picking up Outwitting the Devil and it took me about 2 weeks to read 7 pages and then I quit. I couldn't do it. It was too difficult for my mind to digest. I just could not get through it. I had to use so much discipline just to even get through a few words because it was just so difficult for my mind to process. And I just didn't pick it up again until two years later. I decided to start reading easier personal development books, like really easy self-help books that were easily written and easy to read. And then that got me into the habit. I started the habit of reading those types of books. I started listening to motivation stuff, personal development stuff on YouTube. And as I grew my mind and started reprogramming my mind, when I picked up that Outwitting the Devil book 2 years later, I read it in like 2 days, 3 days. I had no problem reading it because I'd done the work on my mind, right? So this is what I mean by you literally need to transform yourself into an entirely different person. It's not comfortable, but these little daily tasks you do, these little daily actions are you're not going to see the results straight away, but over time you're going to be able to look back and say, holy shit, I've came a really far way. So being able to fly through that Outwitting the Devil book, whenever 2 years before that I could barely read it 7 pages, that was like a real motivation for me to that was proof for me that's like this stuff works, personal development and all this stuff works, right? So you're not going to see it straight away. Like I said, the meditation, you're probably going to wonder, is this even working? And I don't feel anything happening. Over time, all those little daily actions are going to compound into amazing results. And you're really, really going to thank yourself in 6 months, a year from now that you actually started doing them today. Hopefully this helps you guys to really just take these things seriously. I know that up until like maybe your first or second year, maybe up until now, you've been led to believe that the only way to become successful in trading is to master a strategy and master an entry model and backtest and backtest and backtest. And you feel like it's all technical analysis focused, but it's really not. Whenever you type in Google how to trade Forex, I remember looking this up. Let me just share real quickly. Hold on. So I'm just typing into Google how to trade Forex. And I think you can see somewhere. where the results are. Tools. Yeah. So there is 93 million results on Google for how to trade Forex, right? Now, 93 million. Now let's type in Forex psychology. There's only 4 million results, right? So 93 million search results for how to trade Forex, right? Which is focused only on technical analysis, only on a strategy, only on price action. When you type in Forex psychology, there is only 4 million, right? You all know the stats that is it 75% of traders lose money, right? 70% of traders do not make it in trading, right? They're just unprofitable. On last night's call, Sanjeev taught us that only around 10% of traders, I believe it was, actually that take prop firm challenges actually make it to funding, and then only 3% of those actually reach payout, right? Now you really need to ask yourself, how come so many people are failing if there's 93 million search results on how to trade Forex? And so many people are failing because they're completely neglecting the psychology side of trading. Everyone thinks that it's all about technical analysis, and that's why you see people arguing online about whose analysis is better and whose strategy is better. It's not about that. It's not about reading the markets. You can't predict the markets. What matters is the mindset you bring to trading and the psychology, right? So hopefully those search results encourage you to see that the missing piece of the puzzle you're looking for in order to reach success in trading is your psychology and your mindset. So I really encourage you to start taking these actions that I've talked about seriously today, right? So go and do a 10-minute meditation. Go buy a book that you can dedicate it to journaling your emotions. I promise you, even just over the next 2-3 weeks alone, you're going to feel a massive difference. You're going to get addicted to taking these actions every day, and you're not going to need to use discipline anymore. But yeah, if you have any questions, pop them into the Q&A channel.